This video is to help you review some fraction skills that you'll need for Chapter 4. The first of the skills we have been working on through in Chapters 1 and 2 already. We're working on simplifying fractions, and remember, we are trying to get the fractions down into simplest form. So if we look at 6 and 9, I know a common factor that they both have would be 3, so I could divide by 3 on the top and the bottom, and I get 2/3 because 6 divided by 3 is 2 and 9 divided by 3 is 3. On 21/27, I know they're both divisible by 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7, and 27 divided by 3 is 9. We look at 18/24. These are both divisible by 2, and we get 9/12. But I know that 9/12, those 9 and 12 could both be divided by 3 again, and we get 3/4. So in actuality, I should have divided them both by 6, but I didn't see that the first time through, and that's okay, as long as I realize that 9 and 12 both could be divisible again by a second common factor. So that's one main skill that we're going to use a lot of in Chapter 4. The second skill that we're going to need to use while in Chapter 4 is comparing fractions to half. We're going to have to decide if fractions are greater than or less than 1/2 as a fraction. So there's a trick to this. If we look at 6/10, this denominator down here tells me that I have to have 10 equal parts. So what I need to do before I can say that 6/10 is less than or greater than 1/2 is decide what is exactly half of 10. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 5/10 would be exactly half. So then my decision is easy. This 6/10 is greater than 1/2 because there's 6 out of 10 pieces. 5 out of 5 would be half, so it's larger. Let's take a look at 3/14. The denominator 14, first I need to decide what would be half. So if I divide by 2, I get 7/14 would be exactly half. So on this problem, 3/14 is definitely lower than 7/14. So, oops, excuse me, I wrote that the wrong way. 3/14 is less than 1/2. So, taking a look at 6/8, I know that if I divide 8 in half, I'd have 4. So half of pizza cut into 8 slices is 4/8. Therefore, it's easy for me to see that 6/8 will be greater than 1/2. Let's look at 3/7. Now this one's a little harder because it has an odd denominator. So we're not going to get exact whole number answers. We're going to have a decimal. So if I divide 7 in half, and feel free on these odd numbers to use your calculator, half of 7 would be 3.5. So 3.5 out of 7 slices of pizza would be exactly half. So in this case, 3/7 will be less than 1/2. Let's take a look at 1/3. If we divide by 2, we get 1.5 out of 3 is exactly half. So here again, 1/3 is just slightly less than 1/2. So when we're estimating products or quotients for our fractions, it's often really helpful if we look at our fractions and decide if they're pretty close to half, greater than half, or less than half. A third skill that we really need to work on quite a bit and be familiar with is changing mixed numbers to improper fractions. So remember, these are mixed numbers because we have both a whole number here and a fraction. So together they're a mixed number. So we need to change them to improper. And we've talked about improper before and talked about how im means not. So it's a not proper fraction, which means that the numerator will be bigger than the denominator. So if we think about this and take a look, the denominator on this first problem is 3. That means everything has been cut into 3 equal slices. So when we look at the 5 out here in front, that means there's 5 whole pizzas, and each of those pizzas has been cut into 3 slices. So I'll multiply 5 times 3 and figure out that we have gotten 15 slices already. 5 pizzas cut into 3 slices each gives me 15 total slices so far. But I also have this one slice up here all by itself. So we can go ahead and add them. 1 plus 15 then. So 1 plus 15 is 16, and the denominator stays the same. I can quickly draw this in a picture for you. If we have 5 whole pizzas, and they've been cut into 3 slices each, I can count them easily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 slices right here in the whole pizzas. But I'd have to have another pizza cut into 3 slices, but this numerator tells me I only get one of those slices. So I'd take the 15 from the whole pizzas, add it together with that one slice, and I'd have 16 slices of pizzas that have been cut into thirds. So let's take a look at the next one. We have 7 pizzas that have been cut into 5 equal slices in each one. So we can go ahead and take 7 pizzas times the 5 slices, and we get 35, and we write it up here in the air. Remember, this 1 tells me that I have one more additional slice. 7 pizzas times 5 slices each was 35 slices, but I have to add it together with that 1. So 1 plus 35 is 36 over 5. Let's try the last one. We have 4 whole pizzas that were cut into 8 slices each. So 8 times 4 is 32. But the numerator tells me I have 3 more additional pieces. So 3 plus that 32 is 35. And we keep the denominator the same. So notice these are improper fractions as our answers because they're not proper in that the numerator is bigger than the denominator in each one.